just seeing this, the Commanders actually made a few moves. They placed center Ricky Stromberg Cakes on IR. And then they signed guard Julian Good-Jones amidst that. So I'm kind of surprised. I didn't know that they had done that.
Now, Stromberg filled in at guard a few games ago, right?
He did, yeah.
Because they made the move from Gates to Larson at center. What is Gates doing? Is he just benched?
Riding the pine?
Well, I think he's just the backup.
Dressed, yeah. I mean, and he has position flexibility. They still like him. I think they say he's just, first of all, he's a little smaller than Larson.
Can they dump him after this year, or are they stuck to him like with his contract? That is a big whiff personnel-wise.
I mean, I don't
they
think he
didn't give
signed
him a boatload of cash.
Yeah, he didn't
I
sign
heard
for
like $16 million.
He didn't sign for Andrew Wiley type coin.
Yeah.
Like he signed for
I
less
think he's
than that.
just technically the backup center.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely dressed for the game. And again, he can play guard or center. But I think, Larson's bigger. Larson's more experienced. Larson was doing a better job of making the calls, pre-snap calls. So I think they still have a value in him. They also
he signed a 3-year, $16.5 million contract.
Yeah, it's not huge.
$5 million signing bonus, $8 million guaranteed.
They also added to their practice squad, they signed linebacker Brandon Boyer-Randall, and they re-signed running back Jonathan Williams.
He's still around.
Back
Still
in the mix.
around.
Good for him.
Hey, getting the paycheck, getting that practice squad
Maybe
paycheck.
you'll run into him in Ashburn.
His name was spelled differently, though, right? Jonathan Williams?
It was. I thought
What do
he's
you
like
mean?
a J-O-N-A.
Some reason I felt like
It's
it was weird.
J-O-N-A-T-H-A-N.
Yeah.
That's
that-
normal.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, a
normal.
little bit.
I
don't
think
know what
that's
you're
the
talking about.
normal spelling of Jonathan. If you spell Jonathan J-O-H-N-A-T-H-A-N,
Nobody does that.
That's kind of a wacky.
Yeah, nobody does that.
Yeah. And I am not a Jonathan. I'm just John.
Right.
Boring.
No, you're Marty. Remember you're Marty.
You can call me Marty. You can
JP,
call me
I don't-
Cakes. It
I
doesn't
might
matter.
actually start
I
calling
don't think you've done the JPP yet.
That's
right?
coming
not.
today, right? This
Is that
today?
coming
do it today.
But it always is interesting to see kind of where other media entities have the Commanders ranked. I'll just go through a few of them.
Can we all guess?
Well, they're
I know.
they're
No,
it's a pretty wide range.
My range is 18 to 22.
Okay, it's worse than that. What I see is like 19 to like 28.
Wow.
Someone's got
as
him
low as
28.
28. That's
Wow.
pretty low.
Well, USA Today.
Wow.
I don't know if that's. Does Mike Jones still work for USA Today?
Works for the
The
Athletic.
Athletic. They had him at 30 last week.
What's the blurb they have for them at 28? What's the little 1 or 2 sentence write-up?
Well, they're actually hyping up Sam Howell. Fresh off consecutive 300-yard games for the first time in his career, Sam Howell now leads the NFC with 2,471 passing yards, a figure that may continue to rise after the defense was stripped at the trade deadline, Cakes. So just thinking they're going to have to put up big points to make up for the loss of Chase Montez. I'm not sure that that's the case. They didn't get a lot of pressure last week, but they held them to 17.
They did hold them to 17, but that is a pop gun offense led by Mac Jones.
Yeah, I wouldn't get too excited about that.
I would
Well, I
expect-
think what they did is they just forced Mac Jones to beat you.
Yeah, and there were some big drops.
I would expect
Mac
more
Jones had a couple big
offense
drops.
from Seattle than you saw this past week.
I think so.
Yeah, the truth is, if Juju catches that ball, it's probably going to overtime.
Yeah,
Right.
probably so. NFL.com has them ranked 26. Last week they had them 27. They also, everything's all about Sam Howell. Their quote is, any talk of replacing Sam Howell was rightly dissipated as he's now strung together 2 more impressive games on top of the ones he stacked earlier in the year. So there, he is impressing people nationally. USA Today, as we said, has him at 28. Last week he had him at 20. Yahoo Sports has him at 23. Bleacher Report, 23. That's kind of the realm. Pro Football Talk has him at 24. The Athletic has him at 21. So the range looks like 19 to 28.
Such a big game this weekend.
Well,
You
I
say
think
that every week.
No, it's a big one because
It is.
It's from
Is it false?
It's
It's
for
a big
playoff
game.
No.
It is,
positioning.
but I'm not putting myself. I have 0 playoff hopes right now.
If
Well,
they're
it's-
able
well-
to win, it changes the conversation. Then I think
I
you
still
say,
think they
okay,
need to beat
if
the
they're a
Giants.
legitimate contender.
Definitely.
If they lose, you just say, okay, look at the wins. You know what I mean? Like, this would be a quality win. They don't have a quality win on the resume.
Right. This would be one of those, like we've been saying, they've got to steal some on the road if
Right.
they hope to make the playoffs.
And you knock
if
the-
they lose this game, they're probably out.
Yeah.
Just based on the rest of the schedule.
And again,
it's
even if
gonna
they
be
beat
tough.
the Giants.
Yeah.
We've talked about it for a while. The Seahawks are a 6-point favorite, sometimes 6.5. If you'd like to bet on the money line, it looks like you get Washington plus 210-ish in that range.
Maybe that's gone down a little bit. I thought it was a little bit higher than that.
Minus 275 if you want to bet on Seattle. Just to win. Looks like the total is 44.5. Of course, the Commanders are coming off a 2017 win over the Pats. The Seahawks, though, this is what is frustrating to me. They're coming off that drubbing to the Ravens, 37-3. So you know Pete Carroll and his staff are going to have the full attention of the boys this week.
Yeah.
And I would expect to get Seattle's best effort. In terms of the injury front, I'm just looking at the injury report. Looks like they got a couple guys they put on IR recently, I guess. Drabby, you could help me with this. Kenny McIntosh, I don't know if he was a big player. He's been put on IR. Drake Thomas, their linebackers on IR. And then they have a few other guys listed as questionable. They're not big names, though.
I don't think those other guys have played.
Okay, so
Maybe Drake Thomas
none
a
of
little
these
bit,
guys are big-name guys.
No.
You guys are injury-free for the most part?
We might be a little dinged up on the offensive line. I'm not quite sure who's back yet. And
Anthony Bradford's hurt. Was he a starter at guard or was he
he's
a
been playing a
backup?
ton. Yeah.
He's been listed as questionable, but again, questionable is the new probable.
But all of their receivers, they're all healthy, and Kenny Walker's
So their
healthy.
leading receivers, DK Metcalf, but you know what? He's only got 28 catches.
He's been
just
dealing
2
with injuries.
touchdowns.
He's
He had
been
a-
banged
He
up,
had a
yeah.
hip, and is it also a knee injury, Drab? I know he's been dealing with a hip. Had some nagging injuries that have slowed him down.
Put it this way. Terry McLaurin, who we always complain isn't targeted enough,
Yep.
has 47 catches. DK only has 28.
Yeah, it's been a disappointing year for him so far.
Both of them only have 2 touchdowns, though. I guess their running back. I don't know a lot about your running back, Kenneth Walker.
He's good.
He's got 6 touchdowns. He's got 532 yards.
Is he top 5 in rushing?
He looks like he's averaging close to 5 yards a carry, right? Maybe like 4.7, 4.8.
He's good, but the rookie is starting to take away some of his workload in the backfield,
Yeah.
Zach Charbonnet. So it's becoming a little more of a split there than I think most people assumed.
And, of course, at the quarterback position, I think most of us knew this, except for maybe Drab in denial. Gino coming back to earth a little bit. Doesn't mean he won't burn us this week. But on the year, he's only passed for 1,800 yards, 9 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So we'll see.
Did you see the pro Howl stats that were making the rounds on the internet yesterday? One from PFF, one from Next Gen Stats.
I'd love to hear him.
So PFF has number 1 in the NFL in big-time throws through the season, Sam Howell.
I mean,
And then Next Gen Stats, they do one, I think it's called completions with the expected percentage less than 20%. And he leads that with 5. So they do the probabilities, the analytics.
Say it again.
That when the throw is made,
And it's
the
unlikely.
the likelihood of it being a completion is 20% or
Is
less.
it based on the distance of it or
Distance,
the
difficulty, all that sort of thing.
Pretty subjective.
And he's got 5, which is number 1 in the
one
NFL.
of them has to be that dart that he threw to Terry McLaurin early in the season. I think it was against the Eagles in the end zone, where it was like between 2 guys. I think it was the third guy like closing in on the ball.
But that's pretty impressive.
Maybe against Denver.
That's pretty
I
impressive,
thought the
though.
most impressive throw, a lot of people pointed to the touchdown this week, which was nice, but it was weird that there were 2 receivers right there.
Yeah.
I thought the most impressive throw was, I think it was the second half. I might be wrong
Samuel
now.
on the sideline.
No, the one to McLaurin where he was kind of falling back. He was falling back, and he had a guy basically about to hit him in the chest. Now, it didn't affect his throw, but he's backing up through, and he kind of lofted it up about 30 yards downfield. McLaurin had back-to-back big catches on that drive, but the first one, over a defender, dropped it in the bucket while he's falling back, about to get hit.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else we're looking for. I mean, I see all the things I love, but, you know, you don't want to crown a guy 10 games into his career, but that's pretty
It's
impressive.
a lot better than what people thought.
Way better.
Yeah.
That's pretty
I
impressive.
mean, the fact that he leads the league in attempts is crazy.
Well, the fact that PFF has him as the most big-time throws,
Yeah.
I always look
Well,
at
he's
that
going to need some
stat.
big-time throws on Sunday.
I think so. But,
Gonna
I
have
mean,
to-
I don't think it's going to take a Herculean effort to beat Seattle, but I think we have to play well, and we have to expect that they will play
Gino's got 6 picks in his last 4 games.
well.
And he's been sacked 12 times in those 4 games, too. So
Now, you said
it's been going down.
I didn't watch the Ravens game, but you said you guys just ran all over them. Is that what happened, Valdez?
Well, Lamar was efficient throwing the ball, and honestly, their defense was not scary at all.
You mean Seattle's, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seattle's defense was
So,
not
yeah,
scary.
Maybe Sam carves them up. We'll
They
see.
were just they
Actually,
picked
you
them.
didn't-
They picked them apart, and then they ran it down their throat.
Oh, yeah, that was my guy, Mitchell. He ran for 138.
He had a bomb game.
Lamar was 21 of 26, like you said, for 187.
Gus Edwards in the end zone twice.
Looks like Mark Andrews killed him. He had 9 for 80.
Does that every week.
I mean, it was, it was
It was
Division I against Division
it was
III.
surgical.
It's varsity against JV.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Wow, 515 total yards to 151.
Yeah.
Both had 2 turnovers, though. What were the turnovers? Do you remember?
I think Odell had a fumble lost, and I think Lamar had a fumble.
Here's the stat, though. I mean, 29 first downs for
Right.
Baltimore. 6 first. I mean, they literally could do
They
nothing.
had nothing. Zippy.
6 first downs in a game. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that.
Drab
the
hates
time of
this segment.
possession,
He hates it
40
so much.
to 19.
I took Seattle plus 27.5 in a teaser.
and lost.
Big fat loser.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Before the game, if I would
You
have said
needed them plus 35.
if I would have said, "Hey, Drabby, I'm going to lay 27.5 points with the Ravens," you would have
you mean you're
you
going
would
to
have bet your kids on
Yeah,
it.
you would have emptied the bank
You
account.
would have bet your twins
Kids,
on
the
that.
house, the car.
Yeah, all.
Family,
And
everything.
I
felt
lost
it.
that.
What have they been saying in the Seattle media? I know we got a break, but are they
It's
just
a
writing it
total
off
team
as an
effort.
outlier?
Yeah, just an outlier. I mean, no, we got a lot of talent, and we don't have an identity right now on offense. We just got to figure it out, get back to basics.
This is your get right game.
I hope so. Better be. Better be.
Well, if it's not, he's taking
He's getting
an
some
ass whipping.
smacks.
Right.
Yep.